David, it was good that you could be with us today. We are delighted that you and your family will be here, especially those two young sons who are speed demons, and especially on the third floor. Keep an eye on them. Make sure the campus safety gets a head start if they try to outrun them. But the biggest thing is, David, we need you. We want you to be with us, and everybody here stands ready to help you in any way, shape, or form to take us to the next level. And we'll all be cheering, especially Regina and myself. We'll be cheering for you because we know it's going to be a very positive experience. So thank you for joining us today. Couple things, we started factually, we gave our very first degree, or baccalaureate degree, 2000. Since then, we have awarded 2,411 bachelor's degree on this field, Bailey Field. Now, the one thing I want to tell you about Bailey Field, this is quick, because I hear my echo over here, and I better get going. That it's the special. If you look in the back, you see the steps coming down the left side. That was the only way that you could 1937, this was the field. Every time they try to move it, the thing is, there has to be a centerpiece where everybody believes in the value, the mission, and the care and concern of each person that is in college with them, is in the community with them, and moving onward. So I just would like to say that if we're getting ready for you, everybody in this room, faculty, students, staff, if you had a part of preparing for this commencement, would you stand up, A, so we can say thank you, but B, so people know how much it really takes to get one of these things rolling. So, if you were on the committee, any committee, please stand up so we can see you. Thank you. Then we look out, students, and this is your day to day, and the people you're surrounded are the people of your life, the families who sent you here, the faculty, the staff, the administrators who met you here, and together we're going to have a wonderful day and a wonderful time. So please know that. Maybe just if the parents could stand up, so with students, we're going to give them a round of applause. So would all the parents and families stand up? Right, that's the way it should be, yes. So thank you so much. You make a difference in their lives. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to have a keynote speaker. And this is a speaker that you just haven't seen anything yet. He still plays baseball. He thinks he belongs on the Phillies club. We can't convince him he doesn't. But he's a man that adopted us. So the man we're going to talk about is William H. Bender, Senior Vice President, Wealth Management at Merrill Lynch in Scranton. In addition to addressing the graduates today for the 142nd Annual Keystone Commencement, Mr. Bender is a proud member of the Keystone College class of 2013, receiving his Bachelor of Science degree in business. He's been active at Keystone for a lot of ways. Served as a member of the Keystone Board of Trustees, was chair of the board of the Oversight Board. He attended the University of Scranton, the University of Pittsburgh, and recently returned to Keystone to complete the requirements for his degree. The son of Dorothy Bender and the late Harold Bender, Mr. Bender married, a very smart man, his high school sweetheart, Maureen Price. They are the parents of 5 children: Mandy, Missy, Bill, Dustin, and Kevin, all of whom are lifelong residents of Scranton. And just recently, they welcomed their 11th grandchild into the family. So there's a lot of technical things about certifications that Bill could talk to us about. He's asked not to. He gets paid to do that, and this is one of, just to have a good community spirit. This is a thought that, as Gail set up, as the plan set up, Gail said to me, well, what else about Bill Bender? This is all nice stuff. This is all professional stuff. So we saw a piece that Maureen wrote And we just took from that. Bill Bender sits down, his sons and family, daughters, they've all finished college, and they're all doing greatly. He looked in the mirror again, and after 35 years of hard work in raising 5 children, putting children through college, Bill decided it was time to fulfill his own unfinished goal and returned to the college to get his degree. Well, he took on the hardest courses. He met with wonderful faculty and staff. He had to do it, and he wanted to do it, and he's become not only a very successful financial advisor, which he is with Merrill Lynch, he always had the desire to take education to its next level in his own life, and he's done that. And there's a lot of secrets he has that you can even be greater than you are, because when you come out of Keystone, you're great. Is that right? All right. So what else could there be? Well, we thought it was only appropriate that our speaker, who will receive his degree also, I mean, he's full of advice and he's full of genuine concern for those around him, none other than Bill Bender.
I tend to get emotional, so I've practiced this a few times so that wouldn't happen. So bear with me, please. Dr. Beam, Chairman Speicher, trustees, distinguished faculty, Monsignor McGarry, parents, grandparents, friends, and my fellow classmates of the Keystone graduating class of 2013. Thank you for this great honor. I'm truly humbled today to be your commencement speaker. In the past, I have been the one in the audience listening to speakers as my 5 children graduated college, so bear with me as I give this my best shot. To the parents here today, I'm sure you have pushed your son or daughter to graduate in the typical 4 years. Some may have changed paths and may have taken 5, 6, or even more years to accomplish this. I would like to take a minute to recognize my mom, who's with us here today, Dorothy Bender, here in the front row. Now, she is 88 years old and has to be given the most patient parent award for waiting 35 years for me to finally be getting my degree. Thank you, Mom. When Dr. Beam asked me back in December to be the speaker at his final commencement here at Keystone, I was extremely honored. Dr. Beam has become a dear friend. Without his encouragement and help, I can honestly say I wouldn't be graduating with you today. I remember asking him, what could I possibly say to this graduating class that would be inspiring? And as Ned only could, his answer was simple. He said, Bill, just tell your story. Now, I have not publicly ever told much of my story, especially the early years, but at Dr. Beam's request, I'll do my best to do just that. I would like to start at the end, if I may, so you can see how life's puzzle works. I always say you never know where the pieces are going to fit, so always pay attention. I had been on the board at Keystone College for 9 years when Dr. Beam came to me and asked me to be the chairman of the board. Again, I was so honored, but I did think to myself, how can I be asked to lead this great college when I, in fact, don't have my own college degree? It was one of only a few times I can recall that I felt embarrassed and inadequate. I had to tell Dr. Beam so that it wouldn't humiliate him in any way and give him the chance to change his mind. When I told him that I never finished college, he once again simply said to me, I'm okay with that, Bill, but you know it's never too late. It was that day I decided that I had some unfinished business and a goal that I set many years ago that I had to complete. I promise I'm not going to get emotional. I will take a pause, though, if I may. Take a drink of water, as I just dried up. You see, when I was 17 years old, a senior in high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was always living in the moment and not much of a planner. I remember my guidance counselor telling me, since I was good in math and science, I should pursue something in that field. So I applied to 2 schools, the University of Pittsburgh and the University of Scranton. I was lucky enough to get accepted to both, but I chose to go off to the University of Pittsburgh, where I would study chemistry with the hopes of one day going on to dental school. Now Maureen, my high school sweetheart, and now my wife of 35 years, was staying here in Scranton and going to nursing school. I had no idea how much I would miss her, my family, and my friends. Ironically, that also happened to be the year that Pitt won the national title, so I may have been a little distracted by that, if you know what I mean. So I decided in the middle of my sophomore year to transfer back to the University of Scranton and also changed my ambition more towards business. I was a junior when the love of my life and I decided to get married, and we immediately began our family. I thought I would be able to continue school, work full-time, and be a good husband. In the end, something had to give, and it was school. I always thought I would go back nights and finish, but by the age of 24, we had 3 children already, and were being challenged just to make ends meet. Maureen was working evenings as a registered nurse, 3 to 11, and I would work days in sales. I would get dinner, give baths, and do bedtime while Mar was at work, sometimes even help with the laundry. It was in these early years that I learned most of life lessons that helped make me into the person I am today, and it is these few lessons that I thought I would share for you classmates. These are the things that really matter and can have a huge impact on the success you have in life. One of my earliest jobs when we first got married was as an insurance salesman for a combined insurance company. I would travel throughout Northeast Pennsylvania selling $30 disability policies door to door and store to store. It was a tough job and not one I could see myself doing my entire life. I think it lasted about 6 months. Mom, will you please quit crying? It was here, however, that I learned the power of positive mental attitude. The founder, W. Clement Stone, believed so much in positive mental attitude that our entire training program focused on teaching us that we could accomplish anything if we believed in ourselves and went out every day with a positive outlook on life. That is one of the key things I have learned. I've always pushed myself, even on the most difficult days, to remember the power that that has on you, and also on the people you meet. Take Ned Beam, for example. The world is full of negativity. Simply turn on the news. It is easy to get caught up in it, and it's even easier to become negative yourself. The funny thing is, how you think and feel is 100% controlled by you. Once I learned this secret, I began practicing it. And it is true. I control how I react to everything in my life. You can too. Be an observer. Try it yourself. Read up and study this great principle. Then live it. My next job was inside sales. Things were still pretty tough. We couldn't afford 2 cars, so I would drive to work on a moped. It was about 4 miles away, but I looked for a bright side and thought it was good exercise and would save us money on gas. These were the best positive thoughts I could find at the time, trust me. Now, the second life lesson I learned as a young man was the power of goal setting. One of my earliest goals I can remember was to make more money than my wife. Maureen was working as a registered nurse and making pretty good money. But it did bother me inside, and I wanted to push myself to be better and be the breadwinner in the family. Now, the second goal, I recall, was to earn enough money so Maureen wouldn't have to work if she didn't want to. She has always been a great mom to our children, and these days, a wonderful grandmother. I think by pushing myself to reach these goals, it truly changed our lives forever. Goals do that sometimes when you look back on them. Excuse me. My throat didn't dry up when I practiced. If anyone here has ever read the book by Mitch Albom, The 5 People You Meet on the Way to Heaven, you'll know what I mean by the following story. Mitch Albom tells us of the people his character met that had a profound impact on his life, but whom never knew it. As I was preparing for today, I thought of some people in my life that had a huge influence, but never got to see the results of what they actually did for me. One of these people was a manager of mine from Rochester, New York, that stopped by our office in my first year as a financial advisor. I was so happy to be working with Merrill Lynch at the age of 27. He took an interest in me and asked me to drive him to the airport. In our discussion, he asked me what my goals were. I was so proud that I had an answer for him. When I told him how much money I had hoped to make, he looked at me with such disappointment and told me that that was the same amount of money the average advisor had earned that same year. Then he said, "Bill, I want to ask you one question. Are you average?" To that I said, "No, sir." He then told me to go buy a book, The Magic of Thinking Big, written by David Schwartz, which I did that day. It taught me that you can do and become anything you set your mind to, that goal setting actually has no limits, as long as you were realistic and achievable. I began to aim higher at everything I did. I reached for things nobody else was reaching for, and setting goals and using the positive attitude I had learned earlier in my life, which became a formula for my success. I do hope I meet this man on my way to heaven so that I could thank him. You may have heard a phrase, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, or people who fail to plan are planning to fail. All I can say is without goals, there is no measure. Things that occur would simply be an accident. If you set out to do something and do it, trust me, there is no greater joy. But always aim high and challenge yourself. It is these 2 principles I have tried to embrace every day of my life, both in business and in my personal life. Now, you probably can't tell in this gown, but I've actually lost over 200 pounds in my life. Thank you. No, seriously, I've lost at least 20 pounds 10 times. It's called dieting. I've tried every diet that there is, and I can actually say they all work. The reason they all work is that diets are nothing more than short-term goals you take seriously. In fact, I lost 15 pounds this month to get ready for today. What happens when you reach your goal? You reward yourself and go back to your bad habits because the goal's been reached. These days, I'm trying to focus more on healthy living. This way, it could become a longer-term goal, and it is the long-term goals that are the most fulfilling. As I got older, my 30s, 40s, and 50s have been simply setting better goals and challenging myself more. I don't believe I have ever set a goal I did not actually achieve while keeping a positive attitude. One year, I decided I wanted to get 2 very important certifications, my CFP and my CIMA. This was my way of showing I had my education in my field, and something I really wanted since I did not have my college degree. Now, these certifications often take people a long time to get, and trust me, to this day, they are 2 of the most difficult exams I've ever had to take. I set the goal to get this done And with 5 active children, being on a few boards, a very demanding job, I earned both designations in the same year. If it means enough in your heart, you can and will get it done. Getting my degree today may have been my longest term goal, but I can tell you it's the long-term goals that are always the most fulfilling. Life is about moments. These are the parts of our life that are so different, we remember them. We can't possibly remember every second of every day. This is a moment for all of you graduating today. Try to create more moments throughout your life, and I promise you will have a full life. Now, another person I met on my way to heaven, I met at a Merrill Lynch event, and he was one of the top advisors in the firm. In fact, he still is today. I asked him what his secret to success was. You may be surprised by his answer. He told me that he and his wife had attended an Anthony Robbins seminar, and that he and his wife had walked 20 feet over burning hot coals barefoot. What do you think I did? I said I figured if it was good enough for him, I would make it one of my goals. After reading Anthony Robbins' books, listening to his tapes, and attending one of his one-day seminars, I got my wife, my brother-in-law, and my sister-in-law to go with me to the 4-day seminar. And yes, we all walked the hot coals barefoot. Now, since then, 3 of my children have done it also. I would like to share 2 important things I learned from his training. The first is, if you ever find yourself saying the words, "I can't," I would ask you to replace it with the words, "I won't." You can pretty much do anything. If you allow yourself to believe you can't, of course, you never will. The second is a very powerful mantra. I've never forgotten it, and I actually keep it on my desk to this day. This is the word "kanai." Kanai. It stands for constant and never-ending improvement. In everything you do in life, remember that if all you do is try to be better, you have no choice but to improve. I think it is very important to read and listen to motivational tapes to keep the 2 key principles of positive attitude and goal setting alive. They all touch on them in some way. You can't control life and all it dishes out, but you can always control how you react to it. And that's the big difference. Now, we are never too old to keep learning. My sister-in-law, Joanne Corbett, is who walked the hot coals with me. And at the age of 55, she decided to retire from teaching after 30 years of service. Already having 2 master's degrees, she decided to get her law degree. She was so determined to achieve this goal, and she did it. Today, she is the district magistrate for South Scranton and has truly found her passion. I'm so proud of her. Life is going to throw you some curveballs, so like our Keystone Giants baseball team, you better learn how to hit the curve. I've seen so much change in my business over the years, a few recessions and even a few market crashes. You need to learn to adapt and learn from mistakes. I often tell my children that the only constant in life has been change, so I choose to embrace it and not fight it. With change comes so many things. Imagine the technology advances I have seen in the past 35 years. My first cell phone was in a bag. Yeah. It took 3 TVs. It took 3 people to carry a TV into the house. Computers, DVDs, iPads, iPhones, none of that existed. Change is good. And remember that positive attitude that I talked about earlier? If you apply it to change, you become a trendsetter and a leader. Look for it. Make the most of it. As my career blossomed and I benefited from these principles of life, I was taught by another person I met on the way to heaven. This person said that it is important to share and to give back to others so they can benefit. I remember seeing a movie, Pay It Forward, and remembering that talk. How much better the world would be if we all gave back some of what we had learned or some of what we had. I became very involved in my community and served on a number of local boards. And I always try to make a difference if I can. Believe me, it's very fulfilling. My mom used to tell me, Bill, whatever you give to others will come back to you tenfold. I do believe that is true because I have been blessed far beyond what I have given. A few final thoughts. I was fortunate to answer a blind ad in the newspaper at the age of 27. Without a degree or any knowledge of investments, I was given a chance to work for Merrill Lynch. Every graduate here today is so fortunate. My story of being hired and obtaining a CFP and a CIMA would not be able to be achieved today because all of them now require a college degree. I don't want to ever feel I don't deserve the position or the designations I earned. The sacrifices you and your parents have made will allow the American dream to still be possible for all of you. It was at Merrill Lynch that I found my passion. I love learning and helping people every day. As you go out into the world looking for your first job, remember, it will most likely not be your last job. Selling insurance wasn't for me. What is important is to always stay positive and let the puzzle of life lead you to the job that you can enjoy with a passion. If you find yourself working in a job that you hate or riding to work on a moped, remember, it's not a life sentence. Move on. Good people are hard to find, and there are plenty of jobs out there for good people. If you practice some of the things that I've shared with you today, you will find your dream job. You all deserve to be happy. Happiness is not about money or success. It is finding what you like to do and then being the best you can be at it. One more drink, please. Almost done. This part may be tougher. And finally, I've learned throughout my life the importance of friends and family. The only thing you can count on is family. You can't fire them. You can't quit. They will be there for every happy occasion, such as today. They will also be there for every sad occasion. Sometimes they'll be there and you don't really want them to be. And other times you'll want them to be there and they can't be. My nephew Joe Price is graduating from law school in Michigan tomorrow, and I know he wants to be here with me. And believe me, I want to be there with him. We all support each other. I've been blessed in so many areas, but this area is the best of all. People who know me know our family is quite large. I think our immediate family is approaching 100. As you know, we have 5 wonderful children. I have 2 son-in-laws, a daughter-in-law, and 11 amazing grandchildren. And as unusual as it is, almost all of us are still here in Scranton. It isn't because of lack of opportunity elsewhere. It isn't because we have all learned it's because we have all learned just how important family is. My dad and my brother are watching today from heaven. And a day doesn't go by that I don't miss them both immensely. It is because of that I've come to realize that I told you I was emotional. But it is because of that I've come to realize that family I am blessed to have here on earth are the most important people in my life. I'm so blessed to have a family team at Merrill Lynch. It is challenging at times, but I honestly think it is the greatest job a person could hope for. And yes, it was a goal I set for myself 10 years ago, to build a family business that helps other families. I do hope you're able to find your soulmate and experience true love. I'm going to need a hanky here. Oh. Sorry. Maureen has been a true partner for me on this journey of life. Without her constant love and support, who knows how things would have been? She's my rock. Always supporting, encouraging, helping, listening, and caring. She's my best friend and has been since we're 16. They say behind every successful man is a great woman. I think Dr. Beam would agree with me on that one. In my case, most of my success is because of Maureen. In closing, I would hope that I can meet each and every one of my fellow classmates on their way to heaven. I hope some of my comments remain with you and that you decide today to wake up tomorrow with a positive mental attitude. Write down a clear set of goals for yourself. If you haven't done so yet, go out and get that first job and do it the best you can. If you don't like it, move on. Find your passion and spend some time with your family. They are so proud of you today, and so am I. Thank you.
Bill Bender, don't go anywhere. You know the beauty of this, this is the way we are. This is the way we are here. Bill is a big, strong guy, not afraid of anything, except Maureen. Now, well, I think, you're lucky to be soared and, I should say, brought together by Maureen. She does it wonderfully. But what this is, that this crowd, this group of Keystonians, everybody here is a Keystonian. We're part of a family bigger than ourselves. We all need what you said, and that's why everybody had such a resonance to it. Or they saw where your emotion was taking you in a direction, and they started clapping. Somebody else started clapping. They wanted you to get finished, my friend.
Yeah. I know.
No.
Sorry.
No.
How should I take that?
Well, I was going to surprise you, but I better get it going pretty fast here. We just thought this was such a unique experience, and Bob looked it up, and we didn't find anything. Bill's looked it up. Has there ever been a successful business person or educator who has received a degree later in life and then was asked to give the speech to the entire class about why it's so important and good advice that you gave us? And you might not even thought of that when you showed up. But because of that, we would be honored if we could offer you and place it in the right place so that you will know it always came from Keystone College, and that's your honorary diploma, your honorary degree, honorary doctorate for Keystone College. So. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Bill. Maureen, would you please come up so you can help us with this?
I passed my master's, right? It's awesome. Thank you. There she is.
You two get together. All right, you stand here, Maureen. You come over here, and then Dr. Sherry is going to tell them what to do.
Oh.
Dr. Perkins is going to go
Yeah,
first.
you first.
Do you want me to read this?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know that Maureen must have been expecting something because she has on her orange and her blue. Everywhere.
You have me brainwashed.
This says, Keystone College, to all whom these presents may come, be it known that the Board of Trustees of the college has awarded William H. Bender the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, together with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, in witness whereof the seal of the college and the signatures as authorized by the Board of Trustees are hereunto affixed. Awarded at La Plume, Pennsylvania, this 18th day of May, 2013.
Picture.
I didn't prepare a speech for this, so thank you.